Brothers and sisters in our Lord Jesus Christ, since the initiation of the strategic plan in June 2021, the Commissions of our Presbytery have identified specific strategies to implement in all the churches, congregations, and missions of our national church. This document highlights the strategies. I would like for you to study this document and then prayerfully implement each of these strategies. Perhaps your first thought is this: wow, how can I do all this? And perhaps suddenly I have frightened you. And that is a very natural reaction. My advice again is this: prayerfully implement each of these strategies. Remember that the strategic plan is not about implementing strategies. It is about glorifying God and extending His kingdom here on earth. I would like to make some general comments. Number 1, I've divided the work of the Commission by goals. Our strategic plan has 6 goals. These 6 goals help us glorify God and move forward in the expansion of His kingdom. Number 2, note that there are no strategies listed for the nurture of the local church. But if we look at all the other strategies mentioned, we will notice that our church will be nurtured when we grow new leaders, when we communicate more, when we disciple our congregations, when we do justice and mercy ministry, and when we become stewards of the finance God has given us. Number 3, I have marked certain sections in red. This does not mean that they are more important. Rather, it means that they are important and urgent. For example, it is important and urgent that each church, congregation, and mission prepare, share, and send their monthly financial report. I repeat, each church, congregation, and mission. We must be accountable stewards each and every month. It is also important and urgent that each church, congregation, and mission prepare the annual budget for the 2022 fiscal year. We must work in a stewardly manner. And besides, it makes no sense to make a budget in the middle or the end of the year. Now is the time. It is important and urgent to get the news out that there is a financial stewardship training workshop planned for January 15, 22, and 29, and February 5, 12, and 19. We must get the news out. Add to that the commencement of the certificate course being offered by the Reformed Leadership Institute of Belize. It is important and urgent that we train our leaders for ministry. We must get the news out. And finally, it is important and urgent that each church, congregation, and mission identify one person to be part of the youth ministry committee. We must meet the spiritual needs of our youth, both locally and nationally. Now, just note, I keep on saying church, congregation, and mission. We need representation from all these groups. Number 4, the other strategies are in black. They are important, but not necessarily urgent. For many of these strategies, you must plan. For example, what goes on my announcement list for the church activities? I must actually make a list. And every time there is a church activity, I somehow share those announcements. And we could have some examples. Number 1, church and finance training at 8:30 a.m. to 9:30 a.m. starting on Saturday, January 15th. 6 Saturdays in total. We need to announce that regularly, every week. Number 2, certificate course in the Fundamentals of Theology, starting in March 2022. Photographer needed to provide pictures to the church website. And here are the links to our church website. I will be sending them in our chat group. Please view and enjoy. Don't forget to bring school supplies for the needy students in whatever school you have been assigned. And next Sunday, we will be publishing our monthly financial report. Next Sunday, we will be reviewing our proposed budget. Now, if you haven't noticed, all these announcements are right here in this document. Make a copy of it and use it regularly. Communication is always important and urgent. And here's another example of planning. Who are my leaders in finance or music? Or who are potential church leaders or candidates for the ministry? When will I sit down to talk with them? How will they be trained? What tools do they need? When will they start? How will I encourage them as they carry out their new role? And one final example of planning. We haven't yet started visitation to the sick and needy, perhaps in our church. When can we plan on this? Or we now have a digital copy of the Presbyterian hymnal. When will I get copies to the leaders or the members in my church? When will we start using these hymns in our activities? I hope that this presentation helps you move forward with the strategic plan. Remember, it's not about the strategic plan. It is about glorifying God and extending His kingdom here in Belize and even around the world.